heard about any abstract idea which is personified by any poet? If not, you are in very good way or path. We are going to discuss about John Donne's most important and famous poem or holy sonnet, Death Be Not Proud. Here the poet had personified death, which is an idea only, because soul doesn't die. So, without delaying, we are going to discuss this poetry line wise. Welcome again in my channel and this journey. I hope you can understand very well who is John Donne and what is metaphysical poetry. If not, subscribe my channel. I will create videos on those topics also, and you will get understanding of those topics too. Let's begin our journey on Death Be Not Proud. Death be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. What here the poet tries to say is, poet is addressing death, and he says that death should not be proudy, as it doesn't have any power or might. It is not mighty, it is not awful. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow. If you are thinking about death again and again, it will overthrow you on that way also. If you all time thinking about how you die, when you die, you are dying every time. So, overthinking makes death proudy, but it doesn't have any kind of power, or it doesn't have any kind of dreadness. Then, die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. In the first part of this sentence, this line, John Donne is trying to suggest us, and he says that don't try to die poor death. Here the word poor has its significance as you should not die poor death or timid death. If you are thinking about death every time, means that you are dying every time. In every particular second, you are dying. So he suggests that don't die every time. Don't think about death, because it is written when you are coming on this earth, when you have taken birth, at the same day it is decided when you have to go. So what is the need of remembering that you have to go one day, you have to go in this time and that time? If you are doing this thing, means that you are dying every time. And after that, what he says, he can't kill me, means death can't kill me. I told you that it is a very beautiful example of personification. As we know, personification is the figure of speech in which any abstract idea is treating like a human being. Here, death is treating like a human being. Death doesn't have any power to kill you or kill me. If it is destined, it will come. If it is not destined, it will not come. There are a lot of examples which is surrounding us about this factor. Number of time it happens, the passenger of railways, they are trying to catch the train and slip out at the railway track, and after that they are surviving. They didn't die. Why? Because their death is not destined at that time. And sometimes it also happens that a person sleeps at his own house and he dies. Means that death doesn't have any power to kill you or me, but if it is destined, it will happen, and if it is not destined, it is not going to happen. After that, from rest and sleep, which but thy pleasure be, much pleasure than from thee much more must flow. Here in the both line, John Donne is trying to compare rest and sleep with death. He says that death is looking like resting and sleeping time. When you are sleeping, when you are taking rest, you are not doing anything actually. Like that, when you die, you are not doing anything. Your movements are stopped at the same time. But there is one thing which is not similar in both the terms. When you awake from sleep or rest, you will get energy, you remember all the past thing, you will become positive, and you feel rejuvenated. After that, you will take rebirth, but in this time, you can't remember your past birth. So, it will give you energy, but it has some kind of confusion. Okay, so death is not much pleasurable, but sleep and rest gives more energy and pleasures to the person or human being or any creature. After that, what he says that, and soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and souls delivery. What happens here? John Donne tries to focus on the truth of life. He says that the person who are doing good things, they will go very soon. So, if you are a good human being, if you are a good creature, you will go. But you will not go at all actually, because soul is immortal. It is changing its body. So what he says that bones are resting here only. As a Christian myths, we can what we are doing in incrimination form, actually we are trying to secure the body of a person who died, but the soul, it is delivered again in any form of creation. Means that yes, the good people are going very fast from this world, but they are delivered to, their soul are delivered to again in anywhere. You can understand this by Gitanjali also, where the poet Rabindranath Tagore is also saying this thing. Okay, so you have to read that poetry actually. That is the first stanza of this holy sonnet. As I told you that it is sonnet, so it is written in the form of sonnet, and here we find the 8 lines octave which is completed here. After that, in the second stanza, thou art slave to fate, chance, kings and desperate men. Again John Donne is stressing that death doesn't have any kind of power, because it is the slave of king, chance and desperate men, or our fate. If our fate doesn't work, we can't die. If our any chance is not occurred, we can't die. If king's not suggested sentence of death, we can't die. Or if any desperate man cannot trying to harm you, you can't die. Then, and dust with poison, war and sickness dwell. Here he says, or he reflects the source of death. Why death comes? So he says that by poison, by war, by sickness, it is coming. Means that death is depending on those articles. If those are not going to happen, person will not die. And poppies or charms can us sleep as well. Again he is comparing the charms of a lady or drugs or poppies with death, and what he says that they are also giving good sleep. So why death is proudy? Because it doesn't give us good sleep. And better than thy stroke, why swellest thou then? Here he says that the stroke of poppies or the charms of ladies are more strong than death, because we remember all the things actually. After death we don't remember anything, so death is more charmful. So why death is becoming proudy? There is no need of becoming proudy. Then one short sleep past and we wake eternally, and death shall be no more, death thou shalt die. That is the universal fact that death has to die one day. Why? Because as the body dies, the soul delivered another place. Means it takes rebirth, and death has to be die at the same time, because there is a rebirth and it happens again and again. So when we are going to die, we are actually awaking eternally, and we get new life again. So death doesn't have any power, so death doesn't have any kind of dreadfulness, so it should not be proudy according to John Donne. The poem is written in octave and sestet form. Upper 8 lines of a sonnet is known as octave, and last 6 lines